From NFL glory to prison and back again, Michael Vick has run the gamut of public criticism, and now he's reflecting on his choices in his new autobiography, Finally Free. He joins us now from New York City to discuss his motivation behind dogfighting and his new book. First of all, thanks for joining us this morning, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Let's begin with your book and the title. What does Finally Free mean to you?
Finally free means that, I'm finally letting go of the past. I'm explaining, my entire life story. How I got involved in dogfighting, the origin of it. How I was able to dream a dream and accomplish it. Have it all taken away, and have prominent people in my life that, was able to help me get back to this platform. So, I'm using my life as a platform to help other kids, and hopefully it'll be a success.
Michael, you say in your book that you saw your first dog fight when you were 8 years old. What do you think of that, and how did that put you on the path to dog fighting?
Well, I was exposed to a lot when I was young. A dogfight really wasn't the worst thing that I seen growing up. So, I just seen so many people doing it. That I had a tendency to get involved into it. Wasn't told the correct things to do, and if I was, then I didn't use that advice correctly, and I kind of took on a mind of my own. And what I saw, I felt like didn't affect anything or anybody around me, so I got involved and never got away from it.
Mike, take me back to your darkest day while sitting alone in a jail cell in prison.
My darkest day probably was the day I picked up the pen to start writing my book. When I was in prison, I didn't have anything to do. I was bored. I was lonely. I was by myself. I was cold, and I ran through all my fan mail, and the only thing I could do was reflect on my life, and really that's where the origin of this book came from. Me just being in prison, being bored, not having anything to do, and just picking up a pen and start writing about my life and how I wanted to, what happened beforehand, and what I wanted to happen post incarceration.
Some of your critics say that this is just a way to rebuild your image. Regardless, you will always have the dogfighting issue behind you.
Yeah, I know that'll never change, but with this book, I'm just trying to, answer questions to my fans, the people who appreciate, Mike Vick for me standing tall and trying to make a comeback.
Michael, you mentioned your fans. You have tons of them here in your hometown of Hampton Roads. Any special words for your fans here in town?
I love being home. I love Virginia. It's always going to be my favorite place to be. And I got more love and appreciation for my hometown than they ever know. So, we're all going through this together. We are Team Vick.
The name of the book is Finally Free. It hits the bookshelf September 4th. Michael Vick, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.